So when it's not, you just write the exact opposite of what it was before. Okay? When it's not, I just go false, false, true. Please tell me when I make a mistake, okay? Okay, you got this figured out. Quite often the province, when they make you do a negation, they will use it later on the table. In this case, I didn't, because I just wanted you to practice to negate. When it's an and statement, you're going to go to your study sheet and you're going to say, what's the anomaly? Like, what's the anomaly? When both are true, correct? So you check, true and true. That's the first one I would put down, and then I would make everything else false. You don't even have to check, okay? Or, what's the anomaly with or? When both parts of the statement are false. And so everything else is true. Got it? You're checking, right? Next, negation. So again, I'm going to negate, watch negating. Be careful when you read these. Like, is this asking for not P or not Q? What is it asking, right? So you don't mix it up. So this would be false, true, false, true. Same here. False, false, true, true. Okay? And then so now you're going from P, then not Q, right? So the arrow tells you that you're starting at P and you're going towards Q. That is very important. The arrow is always going to be left to right on here, most likely. But even if it isn't, just ask yourself, where do I start and where am I going to? Got it? So we're going to go from P to Q and we're going to find the anomaly where the arrow kind of starts at T and goes towards F. So that's the false statement here. Everything else is true. When it goes from Q to P, you have to start at Q and your journey has to go towards P. So true to true, true to false. That's my false statement. I'm going to write it down already. I found it. Everything else is true. Yes? Sure. I thought you were going to say I made a mistake, but that's a relief. I'm going to add a few columns to this page just so you know, so you can practice a little bit more. Again, I'm going to negate. I'm going to mix these up, guys, so don't think it's always going to be the same pattern. False, false, true, true. Okay, now I'm going from what? Not Q to not P. Guess what? Not Q to not P. This is not Q, this is not P. So you're going to find where it goes from true to false. That's this one. So everything else is true. Got it? Then I'm going not P and Q. They happen to be right next to each other. So what's the anomaly? So basically you want to ignore everything else if you can. And so the anomaly for an and statement is where both are true, which is my second case, my second row, this one right here. That's true. Everything else is false. Okay? Next. Again, negating. It won't always be negating. It won't always look the same. I'm telling you already. You just have to know what the notation means. Got it? Okay. And it's the two ones that are true and everything else is false. And here I threw in a little cookie for you guys, but you never know what they're going to do, right? So, but usually what I see is they progress it to something that you can actually use later. This is already there, right? P and, so you're going to go from this column to where? To not Q, correct? So you're going to go this way. True to false. Oh, I found my false because this is an if statement. Everything else is true. Okay, I went from true to false. My first case makes it a false statement. Everything else is true. Smile. Life is, once you're done this, you're going to be happy. Okay, what about this one? Maybe I'll add a column right here. What if I asked you to do this? real quick, like let's just take less than a minute. Okay? Could you fill this in based on our table right now? Go. Who knows? Who knows? P to this thing. So if you need scrap paper on the exam, I mean, the exam will give you tons of space. But in my test, let's say you need scrap paper, do it on the side. Copy this one down. Copy this one down right next to each other. I'm just going to cover it up. I'm going from P to this thing. So true to true, false to false, true to false. There we go. That's my false. That's the anomaly when it comes to if-then statements. Boom, you're done. Okay? I think we're good. I'm going to stop there.